best way to solve quadratic equations is to use the quadratic formula. The formula will solve any quadratic equation, including those with imaginary roots, but don't worry about those for the moment. The good thing about the formula is it's printed on the formula sheet in the exam, so you don't even have to remember the formula itself. So, for any quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, we can use this formula, and don't be scared by this formula, it's very straightforward to use. We can use this formula to find the values of x that solve the quadratic equation. All we have to do is make sure we know what a, b, c are, and we can solve the equation. Let's see how to use the quadratic formula. First we need an example. We're going to use the formula to solve this equation, 3x squared minus 9x minus 6 equals 0. Whenever you know you're going to have to solve an equation using the quadratic formula, find the formula and write it down. Then write down what a, b and c are from the formula to be solved. Remember, don't forget the minus signs. They are very, very, very important. Step 2. Put the values for a, b and c into the quadratic formula. So again, write the formula down again. That way, if you've written it down wrong or used the wrong formula, at least the person marking your paper will know that, and they'll mark perhaps a little bit more sympathetically. So we put the values in. So minus 9 goes in first, then that makes a plus 9, and it's plus or minus 9 squared, so that's 9 squared, minus 4 times 3 times minus 6, all over 2 times 3. Finally, simple bit, solve that equation, work out what x is. Just evaluate it really. So we get, in this instance, x is equal to 9 plus or minus the square root of 153, all over 6. We can simplify this, and I'm not going to show you how to do this, you should be able to do this yourselves by now. X is equal to 3 plus or minus root of 17 all over 2. Because the quadratic formula is printed on the formula sheet, it makes sense to use it where you can. If you're not told which method to use, then probably best to use the quadratic formula. It will give you the most accurate answers of all the methods and is a lot less complicated than completing the square, for example. However, you need at all times to make sure you use the method that you are told to do so. Otherwise, you may lose marks. As with anything else in maths, do it methodically, write down all your steps, and make sure that you check your answers at the end. And if you want to learn how to use the quadratic formula and make sure you can use it accurately and consistently, then make sure you practice with plenty of examples and work your way through them. Don't try to fool yourself you know how to use it when you haven't put the practice in.